Season's greetings. I want to take this opportunity first to say a big thank you for each one of you that has followed us since we launched the first episode. And today we are airing the final episode of season 1 and the last one of 2025. Because of your continued support, continued feedback, continued comments and engagements on our social media pages, we have been able to bring on board incredible guests to share their insights on different ideas and different insights on business, on policy, on investments. And today we have none other than Rita Kavashe, the chair of the board and executive director of Isuzu East Africa. We'll be talking about the automobile business and especially on penetrating the African market. Karibu sana, Rita.
Thank you very much. Asante sana.
I've been chasing you and it's really great to finally have you on set.
Yes.
And I know people are interested to listen to you today. Number one, because you have been, someone who has set the pace in leadership spaces, someone who is the epitome of growth as an individual on the personal level, in the business space. And today, the role that you play in the business sector in Kenya, particularly in the manufacturing and automobile business, is something to reckon with. And we cannot wait to hear your story from where you began. But first, we want to know who you really are for those who haven't encountered the story of Rita Kavashe. Let's start. Where were you born? Where did you go to school? Let's start from there.
That's a long story.
We can make it.
Thank you. So my name is Rita Kavashe. I am the MD of Isuzu East Africa. Actually, also I chair the board of Isuzu East Africa. I was born in Taita Taveta County, if you know where it is, just down at the coast, at the border post between Kenya and Tanzania in a town called Taveta. I went to school in the village, so had good experience living and playing in my local school. I went to high school at Roy Secondary School, so within the Taita Taveta County. I went to Butere Girls. I went to Moi University, where I pursued a degree in education. And eventually I found myself in the workspace. I trained as a teacher, but decided not to go to teach yet, although in retrospect, I'm teaching every day of my life today.
But is there a reason why you decided not to go the teaching way?
Yeah, I guess I was curious. I had a lot of curiosity around business.
Okay.
So I wanted to venture and understand business, because I knew if I just went to be a teacher where I was posted to teach at Bura Girls Secondary School, and I had already come from the village. So I was excited, fascinated about what is happening in the city, where are those opportunities, how can I get more into business space. So that really propelled me to want to discover what is in the city of Nairobi, and I have no regrets.
Yeah. Are there any specific reasons why you don't have any regrets? Some of us came to the city and the stories that we tell.
To be honest, at the formative years, it was difficult. Having to find like a job, having to find a place to live, because if parents are not in the city, you can only stay with the friends who had families in the city. So it was not easy at the beginning. But because of the determination and flexibility and having good friends who were able to accommodate me, I felt comfortable. And actually, within no time, I was able to get a job as a research assistant at the University of Nairobi Urban Planning Department. So got some money. We stayed with some friends. We were able to get ourselves a home. So slowly we started to navigate and to grow and to see potential in ourselves, really going the extra mile. So that's how we have no regrets.
We have no regrets.
Because we made it in the city. We were young. We came, but we had a resolve to succeed. And here we are.
Apart from resolve, what set you aside as a young girl you went to the schools that we went to, primary school in the village, like most of us did. But what set Rita aside as a young girl to what was a differentiator that made you who you are today?
I tend to think taking responsibility at a very early age of my life. I lost my mom at the age of 5, so I took up the responsibility of being the mother figure in our family of 3. So my father, myself, and my brother. So started very early to do support my father with housework, going to the market, doing stuff that a mother was supposed to do. So I think from that early age, I became quite responsible, and I carried that responsibility throughout my life. And I think that put me in a very strong position to grow.
And your father must also have played a key role in pushing you through the seasons.
He was very excellent because the fathers of those days had a perception that girls sometimes maybe must just stay back at home and get married. But my father was very progressive. He stood for education. So he told me very clearly, so long as you pass to go to government schools, I will always support you. I'll do my best to make sure that you go to school. And for that, I thank him.
Now you have left the teaching, the education path, and in as much as you're still an everyday teacher, you have entered into research at the University of Nairobi. Today, you are at the helm of Isuzu East Africa. How did you end up there?
Yes, so I worked at the University of Nairobi doing research work for like 1 year, and I knew that was a temporary placement, so I was still looking for something more permanent. So I applied for a job in a computer startup company. Those days, the mainframe, that's when the PC were beginning to show up. People were writing softwares for companies, and I was working with this startup, and they were developing softwares for banks. They were developing software for lawyers, different business applications. So there I found myself learning to work with computers, supporting the system developers, review the programs, make sure that they make sense, check if there are any bugs, show them that here we cannot be able to execute, and also getting out there to sell the product because we were very few. So we did a lot of the review of the programs, going out to the market to sell. And that's when I realized I had capacity, or I had a gift of selling, because it is at the time when computing was being introduced, and I was able to sell several softwares to lawyers, to banks like KREP. I remember I sold. Then I was also a trainer because I'm a teacher. I was able to train. And since I was involved in the entire process of making the program, I had very good insight into how it was working. So it was very easy for me to market and also to train.
It's always very interesting because sometimes when you see people who took a certain educational path and then ended up in a different career path, there is always somewhere that the two join. It doesn't end up that whatever you studied in school went to waste. Somehow there is always a connection between what you're doing. But now I'm curious, how did you end up learning about bugs? Computer bugs.
Because then you hear first, you learn the language because you are the developers are in the room developing, and they are telling you, so Rita, this is supposed to be a legal system, and these fields here, they are fields that you need to input the data. Then you go to that field, you're inputting, but that data is not going in. It's supposed to be numerical, but it's picking other characters and all that. So, here there's a problem.
There's
so
a
you
problem.
advise the developer that I'm not able to do 1, 2, 3. So those were called bugs. Those days, I believe they're still called bugs
They're
today.
still called bugs, as
Yeah.
far as
So
I know.
yeah. So it was an interesting experience, really,
Okay.
and I really enjoyed that.
At Isuzu, you went through from an entry level position, and you grew yourself through the ranks. What did it, or what does it take for someone to actually go through that journey within the same organization?
I was actually lucky because I worked for a company that Agenda Motors then that was very supportive on paths that they saw the employees were able to pursue. For instance, I was very, very early identified as a leader potential employee. Even though I was in the sales and marketing organization, that is where I entered, and I was growing through there. I was always a big picture person, trying to understand how the different functions work together to achieve organizational objective. I was concerned about people. I was concerned about how can I contribute to make it better, not only in my area of work, but generally the entire company. So those are tendencies of someone who can ascend into leadership role.
Yeah.
And that's how I was identified as a leadership potential employee. And because of that, then you are taken through a different path of development of your leadership capability, giving you challenging experiences and areas for you to work so they can test and support you to grow into leadership. So that's how I ended up in a leadership role.
Okay.
Because of the support and the interest that the company saw I had. Yeah.
So it is rightfully true to say that a combination of both a personal kind of development is highly supported, that is highly supported by an organization's culture that is able to identify such, is catalytic to one's growth. Because often you can also find someone who has the traits that you have mentioned, but the environment in which they work does not support the growth. And in other cases, there is a culture in the organization, but then there is an individual who does not have the catalysts that you have referred to. And Isuzu East Africa now, and you have mentioned then it was General Motors, has become one of the best industries that we can all relate to as Kenyans, and in this case, even as East Africans. You mentioned earlier, truthfully, to say that Isuzu has impacted our lives in one way or another, whether it's being driven to school, whether it's in deliveries, whether it's in construction. Which of your business strategies is biggest in the market? What is your biggest selling point?
So our biggest selling, first and foremost, Isuzu East Africa is in playing mainly in the commercial. So our core business is in commercial trucks. So pickups 1 ton all the way to 45 ton, and now recently we have taken up UD trucks as part of our portfolio because we acquired the UD trucks from Volvo a few years ago.
Okay.
So commercial is the breadth and the bread and butter of our business, so to speak. And therefore, that's the area where we really focus our business. That is where we're growing. That's where you are saying rightfully that construction, logistics is area of our strength.
Good. And speaking about serving different markets, I don't know if you would want to mention the countries that Isuzu currently serves, and What differences do you see, between Kenya as your primary market and the other African markets that you currently are serving?
So Isuzu serves the entire of East African market. So we have our production plant here in Nairobi, and our business model is through dealership. So the factory produces the product and it's distributed through our dealer network. So in Kenya, it's easy for us to do business in Kenya because people know us, they know our factory, they know our dealer network and all that. When we go out into the export market, we have to connect and understand the needs of those markets, the people, their culture, their policies, government policies. And for instance, a country like Kenya, leasing is so much developed. In Tanzania, if you want to go with a leasing product, it's not that developed. So we have to work with the local government authorities to first develop the framework for leasing so that we can be able to do that. So you can't go to a market assuming it has reached the same level as where you're coming from. You need to understand the DNA of those markets, the pulse of those markets, what makes it possible for you to do business. So with that understanding, we make sure that the people we look for to do our business would be local people in countries, even though they're investors from outside. We insist that the people, the customer facing employees of those dealer networks must be local people from those countries, because that way we are able to understand the market better and be able to serve those customers even better.
And has the African Continental Free Trade Area helped to open up some of these markets? And currently, the markets that you haven't entered yet, but this agreement trade potential has helped you to identify those markets, and which are they?
I want to say that there is conversation that is happening for the actual benefit of Africa Free Trade Area, but I think we are not there yet. For instance, in the auto sector, there is conversation around local content.
Okay.
What percentage of local content should a country be able to have for you to be able to export duty-free to these member states? That is still conversation on the table.
Okay.
For us, we are more concentrated in the next 3 to 5 years to see how we can actually benefit the East Africa community itself.
Okay.
Because today we have an opportunity of about 350,000 vehicles. That market today is dominated 85% by second-hand vehicles.
Okay.
So we have to really work at first enjoying the market where we have the common external tariff before we can even go and discover new markets.
Yes.
Because when we have to have a certain threshold for local content, let's say 40%. Right now, majority of our products are at 30%.
Okay.
So if we agree that for Africa Free Trade, automotive must be 40%, then already we will be at a disadvantage.
Yes, and you need to first cover the extra 10%.
How can we strengthen ourselves here in East Africa by ensuring that member states comply to common external tariff, that there are no non-tariff barriers that show their face from time to time, and their consistent implementation of the duty tariff. For instance, if you import a vehicle from outside within the East Africa community, you're supposed to pay 25% duty.
Okay.
But that is not being respected.
Okay.
So how then can we be able to unlock the opportunity within the East Africa community, build the production capacity, build the local content supply base, because you need that to meet a 40% local content. We are not there yet.
Okay.
So strategically, as ESC, we need to try and fix these issues first, strengthen our production capacity, strengthen our local content and even financing, and then push ourselves to the market. Having said that, our company is already doing business outside the EAC.
Okay.
Malawi, sometimes we have business in Mozambique and all that. But then we have very good opportunity as EAC because we have, in Kenya alone, we have 3 plants that can produce for the entire of Sub-Sahara, excluding South Africa
Okay.
and Egypt.
The capacity is already
The
there.
capacity is already installed. So the market is already there. But we need to strengthen it by implementing full implementation of the common external tariff for the ESC. For Kenya, we need to have more local production.
Okay.
So we can build our capacity for local content, because we are always in a discussion, especially with the regulator, that we need to support more local content.
Why? What is the challenge? Why are we not getting that kind of support for local production? Where is the gap exactly if the capacity is already there?
So there are big wins already in the automotive. One big win was the review of the assembly regulations.
Okay.
Kenya review of assembly regulation. And what that review has created 3 bands of production. So we have what we call completely knocked down, which is the highest level of production. So that is level 3. Level 2, we have semi-knocked. So you can import the material, same process, and then you can finish them here. That's the second level. And there's a third level that the level of breakdown is so minimal. But you can still import and enjoy tax incentive as you gear up to move to level 3 and level 3.
Okay.
So traditionally, because of that policy change, we have seen a complete shift between what is produced in Kenya and what is imported. Before, 80% was imported, only 20% was
being
done locally.
produced.
Because of that change, 85% is being done locally and only 15% is being imported.
Which is a big win.
That is a big win. The other big win is the whole movement around Buy Kenya, Build Kenya.
True.
Then we have the leasing product that was introduced recently. We introduced first with the police. Actually, we are on the 7th cycle. So it's been around for 12 years or so. Traditionally was only for the police. Now it is moving into other government parastatals are now seeing the value of leasing
instead of buying.
So those 3 elements have really helped Kenya. But the biggest issue is that so long as you continue having 85% of what you sell in Kenya is imported, then it is not possible for a local content supplier of spring, batteries, bodies, truck bodies, to invest to the level that an external investor, for instance, Isuzu Motors Limited, is not a local company. It has very stringent regulation around local content components that come into our vehicles, including a filter, including an oil cleaner, including basic items like bolts and all that. They have to meet a certain quality standard.
And does that set you aside? Is that one of the things that set you aside against the other players in the market?
Yeah. You cannot compete. For instance, countries like South Africa, they are already producing and exporting to global market. The same applies to countries like Egypt and Morocco. So why? It's because they restricted importation of second-hand vehicles to allow for local production and better development of local content to be able to now compete on a global stage.
Very true.
Kenya is not yet there. So unless we fix that, you can't really claim that you'll be able to compete on the African stage. Yeah, so there is that challenge that is there, but it's something that we are pursuing. It's a review of a standard that we are calling KS 1515 that then is going to allow us to restrict importation of second-hand vehicle in some categories that we already have local capacity to produce. So gradually start to move Kenya from today the age limit of anything imported in Kenya is 8 years.
Okay.
So the KS standard review is to move us from 8 years to 5 years to 3 years and to 0 years.
To 0 eventually.
Yeah.
All right. I hope we get there. Well,
that's why KEPSA is critical in making that happen.
Yes.
Yes.
And we will come back to the role KEPSA has played, not just in the general economic development of the country, but particularly for the automotive industry and for Isuzu itself, having been one of the long-term members of KEPSA. We will get to that. But first, from consumer perspective, for someone who is looking or has, we have people who have, for instance, when they got their first vehicle, whether it's commercial or private, was Isuzu. And they have never changed gears. It has always been Isuzu. What makes a consumer stick to that brand?
Isuzu is a very strong brand. It's we say that Isuzu produces the best diesel engines in the world. So our customers stay with us because of the value. Isuzu vehicles are very durable. They are very versatile. If you drive along Mombasa Road, you see a lot of Isuzus carrying sand. They go to very, very difficult terrain. Because of that, then most of our customers have peace of mind. Peace of mind and value for money. Anytime you ask a customer why Isuzu, he says it's trouble-free. There's a mechanic who can fix it. There's a parts shop that I can be able to access spare parts. And banks also love to finance. Remember, our vehicles, 90% of our vehicles are financed by a bank.
Okay.
So the resale value is very good. Today, if you get a 5-year Isuzu pickup, there will be someone, almost 10, 15 people lining to buy it because of, again, the durability of the product.
Okay.
And that is because also of having to produce it locally. Because we define the product which is supplied to us. But when it comes here, because of the road condition, we do some modifications, strengthen the chassis frame, for instance, make sure we have the right size to be able to tackle some of the places where our customers go and there are no roads. So there's a lot of re-engineering to make it rigid enough to serve our customers.
Fit for our context.
Yes.
Very good. And Rita, what role have you played in Isuzu since you took over to make sure that the story of this brand only becomes better and does not fall back from the time that you took on this leadership role? What has been your biggest role?
But when I took over the business, our share was only 23%. Today, our share of commercial vehicle is 54%.
Well done.
So we control this business of trucking, light duty to heavy duty segment. The role of first, you have to have a good product that customers want. So that kudos to our Japanese friends who really spend quite a lot of time to engineer great products. Having grown in the business, I was in sales and marketing. So I was on the ground selling. So I understand to a great extent the product and the customers. What is it that customers want? What are customers looking for? So for me, in my time, I have tried as much as possible to focus our business, our team, and our dealers to give value to our customers. All the time trying to ask, what else can we do to make this product serve you better. And we listen to our customers. We involve them in several focus groups. We produce the vehicle, they use the vehicle. So we think we have produced the best that we can, but at the end of the day, it's the customer who uses it.
Will see.
So listening to the customers has been one of the things that I have tried to perfect. Building the brand. Isuzu is a strong brand today. It's a powerful brand. Before, we didn't spend time to educate our customers around the benefits of using our brand.
Okay.
So we've spent quite a number of years strengthening our brands, strengthening our network, because most of our customers, they don't want to travel long to get services. Yes. So we have expanded our network of dealers. We have also expanded our touch points where a customer can get service. Today in Kenya, in East African region, you don't have to travel more than 50 kilometers before you can access service. Before, it was, our business was only in the major cities. So Mombasa, Kisumu, Nakuru, Dar es Salaam, Kampala. But now our network has expanded, and that has really helped us to strengthen our brand. Salespeople, we have built their capacity so they're able to articulate to customers our products and the benefit of our products. So a lot of capacity building, mechanics, salespeople, the entire network that supports our customer is very, very well trained. And then finally, the banks. We have worked hand in hand with the banks. As I said, 90% is financing. We have curated beautiful products. For instance, the school bus. Yeah, maybe you were young. When I was going to school, we contributed for the school bus, and we left the school before the bus was bought. So I came to the company with this in mind, that my father paid a lot of money, but I never used the bus. So I worked with a team and NIC Bank then and the Ministry of Education to say, look, schools they're there for long. They are sustainable businesses. Why do they have to pay every month? Yes. Their cash flow generation is timely. It's not every month. Look, such a small innovation made it possible for a lot of schools to buy buses. Today, there is no school that does not have 2-3 buses. Yes. So we unlocked quite a beautiful opportunity there by just understanding the customer cash generation cycle.
Okay. Yeah. And the price point is also quite competitive for the customer.
The price is competitive. The customer can see value in the price. Our products are not very cheap, but the customer can connect the value because there are trucks that are as old as 40 years on our roads and they're still going strong. So customer has generated enough value out of such products.
Okay. And one thing I have learned is that in any business, whether it's small, medium, or large, the people are key. Whether it's the people that work with you, the people in terms of the customers, the people in terms of partners, people in terms of investors, they are the biggest asset that you have. For you at Isuzu, your relationship with the people that you work with, how does that look like? And I'm asking this because I appreciate your growth within the organization. I appreciate the fact that you have mentioned also, which is true, you having gone through that journey from a sales point of view, from understanding and interacting with the product and the rest of the components of the people, also contributed a lot to you being able to now carry that brand to the next level. And I do not want to preempt, but I would imagine that maybe you are also in a position where you have identified people within your organization that have the same leadership attributes that were identified in you, people that you're coaching, people that you're mentoring into the next level of leadership. What is your relationship like with the people that you work with, and why is it important?
It's very important because I tell my employees, if we all came here one morning and this place has equipment and everything intact and there are no people, is that a business?
It's not.
It's not a business. So people is everything. People breathe life to business.
Very true.
One of our core values as Isuzu East Africa is relationships. So we try to build strong relationships with everyone. Actually, we don't go to the marketplace that we must sell today. We are patient enough and we have customers that we have walked a journey with them for 10 years before they bought a vehicle. Every year, January, they came to ask, ile gari ni pesa ngapi? Imebadilika. They go away, we give them a quote, they go away, they come again. We call them, are you still coming? Are you still thinking? 10 years down the line, that customer walks in and buys a vehicle. And we have been patient with that customer all along because to us, it's those relationships that matter. So we try to build very, very strong, lasting relationship with whoever we come across because sometimes supplier can come looking for work, but that supplier can buy a vehicle. A child we have sponsored to do high school might talk to someone in church about Isuzu and that person can come to buy a vehicle. So any relationship is an important relationship for us to influence for the success of our business. Banks, insurance, name them. We try to build very, very strong relationships, of course, the people. In terms of developing people, it's one of our core activities in our company, developing people and developing leaders. Today, I'm proud to say there are 3-4 people who can be managing director of Isuzu East Africa and run the business very successfully because we have spent time and effort to build their capability, both functionally, technically, and also leadership.
Okay.
Leadership to us is not you just ascend to leadership. It's a deliberate effort to build your leadership capabilities. Yeah.
It's very, very satisfying actually to hear. And you've mentioned something about, let's say you have sponsored a child to school. That means there is also a big aspect of community development and impact as well with the communities that you work with. And I also am cognizant that you have also not gotten where you have gotten without the collaboration of the rest of the industry, collaboration with the regulator, the government. For KEPSA itself is the apex body of the private sector, with whom I mentioned earlier, you've been one of the longest serving members. What role has KEPSA as an organization played in the growth of Isuzu? And if there's someone who or a business that is not a member yet and is looking to join, what benefits would you say you have enjoyed that surely if KEPSA was not in existence wouldn't have contributed to the growth of Isuzu?
So when I worked for General Motors was a strong believer of industry collaboration. And they didn't see their leaders spending time with industry or lobbying with governments as a waste of time. It was actually something that was encouraged. So when I took over as the MD of Isuzu East Africa, the first stop was KEPSA. To just understand how KEPSA works, because we were already a member, to see how can I be of value and how can I leverage KEPSA for lobbying and industry support. So we have benefited very much from KEPSA. All these Buy Kenya, Build Kenya efforts that we worked very closely with KEPSA, leasing a product. Right now we are talking about the automotive policy. Do you know that Kenya did not have an automotive policy until 3 years ago. And that is something that we have been working with KEPSA. And that's why now I'm telling you there's a clear reversal between what is imported in Kenya and what is being done locally. It is because of those assembly regulation and the formation of the automotive policy that has attracted investors. Because if you are a new investor, you want to come to a country, the first thing you ask, does that country have an auto policy? And Kenya did not have until 2 years ago. Actually, it's now in the process of implementing the automotive policy. And I know we've burnt midnight oil at KEPSA and within ministry and presidential roundtable, trying to really push the implementation of the auto policy. Now it's behind us, and even before we can see the full benefit of that policy, you can see already an impact just because people believed this document is out and now we can go and invest in Kenya. From a business point of view, we have benefited a lot. Remember, we are coming with a relationship in mind and working with KEPSA with so many sectors interacting and working together. That right there is a source of a lot of business for a company. And we have done a lot of business and we have learned. For me, the most take home as an individual is the learning, because I always joke that KEPSA is a university, because you can learn agriculture, what is happening in the agricultural industry. You can learn about mining, you can learn about other manufacturing other than my own sector, banking, everything is under one roof. You just need to go to a sector board meeting and you can have the entire of the economy being shared in one sitting. That to me has been my best take home. And I have looked at that as a big opportunity. And one area that I have actually learned, when the entertainment industry was beginning, and there were many people we were working with at KEPSA that were in that place, and they were buying a lot of vehicles. It had never even occurred to me how big that industry was until I engaged with the sector board at KEPSA to understand how my trucks are actually shipping and carrying, whether it's chairs, it's tent for entertainment across the country. If I wasn't at KEPSA, maybe it would have taken me much longer to really figure it out. But just through those interaction and engagements and networking with these different sectors, I found that really, really beneficial. So to us, KEPSA is not a good to have. It is a critical part of our own success and our business. And I'm not the only one who sits in KEPSA. I even invite my senior leadership, take responsibility at KEPSA. Go into banking, go into agriculture, go and understand what is happening in those sectors, because then we can be able to come and strengthen our own strategy on how to go to market, for instance. So anyone who is not at KEPSA, they're losing a lot. Yes.
And as we come to the end of the conversation, looking at Isuzu in the next 3-5 years, I think now everyone is looking at Vision 2030, but Vision 2030 is not just from a national perspective, but it is a lot of businesses I find, and I've learned that they set targets in alignment with Vision 2030. For you, looking at the next period of your tenure, what is your vision? What do you aim to? Where do you want to move the company?
So our strength is very much, our core is commercial vehicles. So protecting that core through continuous innovation of our products with our customers. What else? Because our customers' needs are changing. We are finding different application. Traditionally, you will see only truck body, steel structure body. Today, you have people who are looking for refrigerated trucks because their business models are changing. They're looking to transport fresh produce. They're doing a lot of exports of or vegetable. There's need for medicine and making sure that those medicines are transported in cold chain and all that. So there's quite a bit of emerging requirement for new applications as the country is growing. So how can we support our customers in bringing in those new innovations? So that is, as from an application point of view, expand our scope, making sure our products continue to add value. As we talked about Africa Free Trade Area, expand into the rest of the region, making sure KS 1515 is implemented, because right there, if government approves and implement that standard, there's going to be additional 10,000 trucks that are going to come to our market. That becomes a very important lever for strengthening local content supply base, absorption in the factory, because of that opportunity, as well as getting ready now, strengthening that local content to be able to do export. Expand local capacity, local production. For instance, from January this year, we are going to start producing our Isuzu MUX in Kenya. Today, we are importing that model from Thailand, but from January, we are going to start to produce it in Kenya. So have everything 100% produced here in Kenya. So everything of ours will be produced locally. We have just invested 3 billion on Mombasa Road in expansion of our parts distribution center. We see a lot of opportunity for offering very good after-sales support. Our customers tend to use the very informal Juakali artisans for major repairs, and they lose a lot of money because sometimes those products are not properly serviced with genuine parts and all that. So that investment is to ensure that we are able to serve our customers faster within the East African region. But as we talked about Africa Free Trade Area, we want our parts distribution center not to only serve East Africa, but open it up for the other countries within Sub-Sahara Africa. They can be able to access the spare parts. Then strengthen our new products like leasing within the region. We are very strong with military applications, so again strengthen that across the Eastern Central Africa region. And making sure we have a strong pipeline of second-hand vehicles that are coming off lease, because Kenya and East Africa must build its own second-hand vehicles. And we've seen with the leasing products that are coming out, there's a ready market in Kenya. So how can we expand that piece of our business so that we can have more Kenyans consuming what we are producing locally?
I must confess, I feel more empowered after this conversation. And if you were to speak to your 20-year-old self, Rita at 20, what would you tell her today?
Rita at 20, I'll tell her the world is changing. The world is very dynamic. And you have to remain agile, flexible, changing with the changes in technology, adopt, don't be afraid. Keep trying new areas, get into new spaces, build strong, lasting relationships. You need them because the world has become very individualistic, and yet you cannot survive as an individual. So look for meaningful collaboration and build strong networks.
Thank you very much. I will take that home as well as a word received from Rita at 20, and also put myself in that shoe. I think it is a lesson that we can all learn and take home as well, even as we end the year 2025. And as you put together your thoughts in the new year, we want to wish you the very best of success, and may all your wishes come true. Thank you for watching and see you in the next season.